Before we begin the seminar, I would like to introduce us, the hosts, in case you don't know who we are. We are Europe Language Jobs. We're a leading European job board. Our main task is to publish job offers with languages all over Europe, in every European country you can imagine, with every European language you can imagine. We promote relocation, but we also, because we have so many languages, you can also find jobs with your native language, so you don't have to move anywhere if you feel comfy where you are. And this event, this webinar, is a part of our bigger event. It's called 30 Days to Get a Job, the challenge. It will take part all throughout October. Every day we'll be sharing advice and valuable info about how to find a job, how to change your career, how to go through the entire process from choosing the right offers to writing the best CV or the cover letter to succeeding in your job interview. So if you haven't joined yet, Erica will send the link for the subscription in the chat, and also the link where you can join our platform and subscribe to our register on our job board. I would also like to say a quick thank you to our sponsors, without whom this event wouldn't be possible. They are Fujitsu, Saito Portugal, 5CA, WebHelp Portugal, WebHelp Spain, TTEC, and Logical Recruitment, all of whom jobs you can find on our job board. Yeah, now is the time to introduce our special guest, Fiona Moss. She's the career coach and a business mentor. She's focused on helping people who feel a bit burned out with what they're doing now change their lives and start doing what they really love. And I let you, Fiona, take over and tell everybody more about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. Thank you guys for facilitating it and hosting it and everything. I will introduce myself in just a second. Let me just share my screen and then we can dive in. So can I just check that you guys can see that all okay and you can see the slides? Perfect. Okay, guys. Well, firstly, as I say, thank you all so much for being here. Today, we're going to be talking about escaping the career ladder and really discovering your dream career. And I think so often we get so caught up in what we should be doing and this idea that we should be climbing a ladder and a lot of shoulds and milestones, rather than actually really recognizing what we do want. And that is exactly what we're going to be diving into today. So Erica's already asked you to jump into the chat, to share where you're from, to share what languages you speak, to share your name. And I think, as Erica already alluded to, this is putting yourself on screen. We're all kind of a bit fed up of the virtual world now. So it's really nice to just be sharing and supporting. The more you share in the chat as well, and I'd love you to do that throughout the whole of this session, the more I can understand what's resonating, the more I can understand what I can support you with. If you have a question, please do not hesitate to dive into the chat and let me know any of those aha moments. And we will dive in from there. So if I can just check that straight away, if you guys are okay with that, if you're ready to get involved, if you are ready to use the chat to ask questions, just let me know in the chat. Just give me a little okay, yes, whatever that may look like. If you can let me know, and then we will dive straight into the chat front, into the session today. So as you guys are doing that, perfect. Thanks, Dennis. Thanks, Erica. Elena, Anna, Darcy, everyone's jumping in now. Yeah, please just jump in, ask questions, and let's interact with one another. So today, I really want you to remember that this is about you. You have signed up today because you are frustrated and unfulfilled in some way about your career, and you are important, right? You are incredibly important about what you are doing with your life, and this is about you. It's about no one else. I really want you to give yourself this time to just allow yourself the opportunity to think beyond where you are now. Like, think about why you're actually here, why you have signed up. So I really want you to give yourself that space, be focused. So this thing here, let's turn it off. Let's put it aside. Let's really focus. Let's be engaged. And let's start thinking about what we can do to support you to escape that career ladder, that corporate ladder, and start to move forward into a life that you genuinely feel fulfilled with. So what we're going to cover today, we're going to think about some mistakes which are actually holding people back from their dream career. We're going to think about 3 steps to actually supporting you to escape the corporate ladder and discovering your dream career, things that you can actually take away and do from today and go and try and, you know, think about those next steps. And then actually, and these are going to include finding clarity on what you want, recognizing and overcome exactly what's holding you back, and goal setting as well. So really tangible action steps that you can take away. And I'm going to be sharing with you my 6 secrets to actually stepping in to your dream job and a life you adore. So guys, before we go into any of that, as Luciana said before, my name is Fiona Moss, and I am a career coach and a business mentor for those who are incredibly frustrated, unfulfilled, who feel stuck in a career which ultimately they hate. They wake up every single day feeling like, what's the point? They don't feel excited. They don't feel like their day has purpose. And I support those individuals to get really clear on exactly what is going to give them purpose, to what is going to excite them, to what is going to light them up, and to help them understand how they're going to make that transition. So I support those making the transition, but I also support those who have decided to step into a new business and help them to get set up so that they can see results from the word go. And the thing is that this hasn't always been my job. In fact, it's been my job for probably 2 years now. Because before that, I was where you are right now. You know, I was in a career where I felt done and I felt unfulfilled and I felt like I was lacking purpose. I felt like I was out of sync with my values. I felt like I was bored. Do any of these words resonate with you? Let me know in the chat what's resonating with you. Because I was in a career where I'd wake up every single day. I was a retail buyer where I just felt completely disconnected to my job. I felt like I was restricted in what I was doing. I felt like I couldn't achieve my potential. I felt lonely, to be honest. I didn't feel like I was really part of a community. It all made me feel unmotivated. It made me feel fed up. It made me feel overwhelmed. It made me feel burnt out emotionally, mentally, physically as well. It was having an effect on my body. I could actually see it was having an effect on my relationship because I was stressed. But I actually felt like I had lost who I was. I didn't know what actually was lighting me up anymore. I didn't know what it meant to be me. But more than the worst thing of all is actually I just felt stuck. I felt like all of these things, but I felt like there was no way out. And I can see from what you guys are saying in the chat that actually this is resonating with you. This is exactly how you feel, and I get it. And it's really difficult when you're in that space to understand, well, how do I make that change then? How do I step away from feeling like that when I feel stuck, I feel restricted, I feel overwhelmed? How do I step away from that and actually find clarity about what do I actually want? But there is a way, and there is a way because I've done it. And I work with my clients on it day in, day out to help them not just find purpose and find fulfillment and find that motivation again, not just in their career, but in their life as well. Because we all know that how much time do we spend in our career? We spend a third of our adult life. You know, how much time every week, and it's not even just when we're at work, it's the effect it has after it. When we take work home with me, when we take work home with us, when the knock-on effect when we're stressed on our relationships, on whether we engage in social activities, it has such a big effect. So this isn't just about your career right now. And that's what I want you to recognize through this whole webinar that we're having today. This isn't just about your career. This is about your whole life. And it's about creating a career that allows you to live the most fulfilling life that you can do. And that's what I wanted for me. So right now, and from where I'm actually giving this webinar for you guys, I'm doing it from Guatemala. So right now I have obviously created a career where I can work remotely wherever I want. And I've created that. I've got really clear about what gives me purpose in the content of my job, but I've also got really clear about what I want for my life. And I wanted to be able to work remotely. I wanted to be able to travel like many of you will do. You know, that's the whole point of European language jobs is give you the opportunity, you know, the fact that you can speak so many languages, the fact that it gives you so much opportunity to work where you want. But I knew that this was important to me. So I'm traveling through Central and South America and working as well at the same time. But I'm doing that whilst also doing work that really fulfills me. And I'm creating not just a career that fulfills me, but a life that fulfills me as well. And it is possible. Because right now I've moved from that place where I felt stuck, I felt frustrated, I felt overwhelmed, I felt anxious, you know, it was having effect on me and my life. And I felt like, what was the point? And now ultimately I've created a life where I have freedom, where I've taken back control, which gives me meaning, which gives me balance, which motivates me. I feel inspired, not just by the work that I do, but the life that I'm living. I feel like I have so much opportunity available to me. Flexibility, that sense of loneliness is no longer, and I feel that sense of belonging. I know how much potential there is, not just right now, but in the future as well. But more than anything, the thing that matters to me, the thing that I work on with my clients so much is around purpose. It is around finding real purpose in what you're doing so that you are motivated, so that you are inspired, so that everything that you do, you know, lights you up and you feel that sense of value day in, day out. So let me know, is this what you want? Is this why you are here today? Let me know in the chat. If this is what you're after, give me a hell yeah, a whoop, a yes in capital letters, I don't mind. But I want to understand, is this where you guys are at? Hallelujah. That's perfect. That is exactly what I want to hear. Hell yeah. And this is what we're after, guys. Yes, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. I love that. Because this is what I want for you guys. But so many of us think that this is out of reach. And we're told that this is out of reach. We're told that we can't have the perfect career, which gives us fulfillment and purpose, but also have a life that we want to live. We're told that work and life is separate. But I want to tell you right now, it's not. And actually, you're a human being. And so just like I said before, everything is so interconnected. And so if we can get our career right and be really clear on what we want from our life, then we can create all of this, all of these feelings. But let's think, I want you to recognize right now, what is actually holding you back from all of this? And the reality, and these are some of the, like, these will be individual to you guys, but these are some of the most common things that I see. You have no idea what you want to do. Easy, right? You have no idea, well, I'm stuck, I'm unfulfilled, this thing bores me, but what do I want to do? That's difficult, right? But it's not impossible to find out. The fear of the unknown, the fear of stepping outside of that comfort zone, the what ifs, the challenges that may come up, we all know them, okay? But it's holding you back. Overthinking about what could go wrong, rather than thinking about what could go right. You know, all of the opportunity that you have ahead of you, the confidence, the self-doubt holding you back, the being uncomfortable with the idea of putting you first. Maybe you've got a family, maybe you've got children, maybe it's about your parents, but the idea of doing what's right for you and thinking about what other people want, what other people need. You're scared of letting other people down. Money, a huge part of what holds people back is money. And whether that's about investing in themselves, whether it's about stepping away from their job, whether about the fact that they have children or mortgages, or they need certain funds to do X, Y, Z, but money holding you back, and that relationship around money, that management of money. Now, money is a vehicle to create so much. And if we can change our relationship with money, ultimately we can create so much more opportunity, because it's just tokens. And we'll speak about this a little bit later. So what are some mistakes when people are changing their career? And what I want to do right now, guys, before we go into those 3 steps and thinking about those 6 secrets, I really want to highlight some mistakes I see that people make all the time, which ultimately are holding you back from that dream career, are holding you back from making that change. Not just those things, those fears that are holding you back, but also really recognizing what some mistakes that people are making so that you don't have to make those mistakes. I'd love to know, as I go through these, I'd love to know which ones resonate with you. So number 1, you don't identify and address what is holding you back. So just as we say, maybe some things that are holding you back are money, a fear of what other people may say, or just not knowing what you want to do. Maybe it's around time management. Maybe it's around, just that fear of stepping out of your comfort zone. But rather than just not making a change, but knowing you want to make a change, getting really clear about exactly what's holding you back from doing so, and actually addressing it is a fundamental piece of the puzzle, because otherwise we would all be doing it, right? If you're sitting there thinking, I want that, which is ultimately what you've all just said, hallelujah, yes, hell yeah, whatever it may be. If you're not already doing it, why not? And what is holding you back? And when you can start to identify that and you can start to address it, then you can start to move forward. Is it fear? Is it practical? Is it something practical? Is it what other people may think? If you can get really clear on that, then you can do the work to overcome it. I even said this morning something on my Instagram, when we're making a change and we're stepping out of that comfort zone, of course, there's going to be challenges. Of course, in order to achieve something we haven't got there, are going to be challenges, but they come together. You can't have one without the other. But those challenges aren't roadblocks, they're speed bumps. And we need to identify that. And as soon as we identify that, then we can start to recognize, okay, well, how do we move over these speed bumps then to move forward? The second thing is around taking action without knowing what you want and what gives you purpose. Now, what I mean by this is that quite often when people are in a career where they think, oh, I really need a change, I really need to do something which gives me more fulfillment, I need to be more exciting, etc., etc. What they do is that they make a change and they go to something where the grass looks greener on the other side. They see this shiny object and they think, well, that looks better. So therefore, I'm just going to jump into that. I'm just going to make that change. But what ultimately happens, if you don't get clear on what you want and what gives you purpose and what aligns with your values, what potentially happens is you step into that job and everything that frustrated you about your current job right now potentially could frustrate you going forward, because you're not really clear on the fundamentals of what matters to you, of what you want. So rather than taking action, getting clear on what gives you purpose first is the right way around to do it. It gives you that foundation for you to then go, okay, this is what matters to me, therefore I need to take this step to go forward. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. The third thing is not addressing what you actually want and widening your scope to find it. We live in 2021. The opportunity to do a career that gives you purpose, that gives you value, that you love is endless. And the opportunity to create a life that you want is endless. We have the internet, which has everything around the internet, and virtual meetings and webinars have been accelerated through the pandemic as well. So the opportunity is there. I never thought 2-3 years ago that I would be able to run a business, grow a business whilst moving around in another country, by being able to continue to build, continue to, achieve my career aspirations, but also being able to do that whilst creating a life I love. But so often we get caught up in this tunnel vision view of what society expects of us, what our parents expect of us, what we should do, the ladders and the rungs along the way, rather than actually stepping back and thinking, well, what else is there? And that is about widening your scope to find it. The first step is actually just addressing what you want. So the fourth thing is about you're holding yourself back in the fear that you just have to jump. It's an either or situation. And quite often I know that this stops people from changing, because particularly around money, they think that, I don't have a financial means, just to step back and then just to hope something happens. And I don't suggest that with any of my clients. We get really clear in a pragmatic, practical sense about how do they transition with confidence and clarity, so that they are not just stepping into the unknown, so that they're really clear about where they're moving and they're confident about where they're moving. They know that that move is going to help them to achieve that purpose that they want to achieve, but they don't just have to jump. Practically, financially, everything around that, there is a clear strategy and structure in place to help them to get there. Money, we mentioned it before, money holds you back. Now, whether that's about a fear of investing in yourself, whether that is around practically how do you manage money as well. Money ultimately can hold people back in many, many ways. But we have a belief that either money is bad and we shouldn't spend it, or money is finite. But the reality is that money isn't finite. Money is everywhere. Otherwise, how do billionaires lose a load of money one day and make it all back in the afternoon? We really need to recognize about how our relationship with money is holding us back, because when we want to find a solution, we will find a solution. And whether that's around practically being better at managing money, or also being better at our relationship with money and how we view money, if we can adapt that and change that, ultimately that's going to open up so many doors, because money is a vehicle, it's a token. And if we can give it away, we can get it back. And that's what jobs are all about. That's what spending is about. That's what economics is all about. And I think it's a really important thing to address, particularly when you're changing career, because it is such a big thing that holds people back. So many people, and I have a client who's on one of my programs, one of the biggest things that held him back from even stepping into my program to look ahead to change his career was the fact that he earns over £50,000 a year, and he's worried about stepping down on his lifestyle. And therefore it's about, okay, well, if that is your relationship with money, and you're scared of the fact that that might actually not happen again, then you're putting yourself in this lack mindset where you're stopping yourself from seeing the opportunity around you. So the more we can have these conversations around money, the more that's going to support you. But if you immediately stop yourself from taking any step because of money, then that is ultimately one of the biggest mistakes that I see. And what is really funny is that people don't take action because of money, because they see money as finite. But actually, one of the biggest mistakes, and one of the mistakes that is most important to me, and the one that I think is most important to address, is that so often people wait for someday, okay, one day, next year, next week, next month, rather than now. And the reality is that there's no such day as someday. The reality is the only day that is available to us is right now. And whilst we are not taking action because we think money is finite and we allow money to stop us from moving action, the reality is, well, as I said before, money isn't finite, but time is. And we do have a finite amount of time. We have these two currencies, money and time, but we allow time to hold us back. And so we just let time just go on and go on and go on, and we waste time. But how much more time do you want to waste in that career where you feel frustrated and you feel stuck? Wouldn't you prefer to spend more time in a career that you love and you feel fulfilled? Let me know in the chat, how much more time are you willing to waste in a career where you feel frustrated, you feel overwhelmed, you feel stuck, you feel like you can't live the life you want to live? As Al said, zero amount of time. But the funny thing is, we allow ourselves to wait and wait and wait. And what I want you guys to recognize is that now you have an amazing opportunity, an incredible opportunity, as I said before, to actually create the life that you want to create, to actually step into a life that is fulfilling you, that is giving you purpose, where you can travel the world, where you can use your languages, where you can do more of what you love, where you can feel fulfilled every single day. And that is the opportunity that you have available to you. We just need to stop holding ourselves back. And we need to take some key steps. And that's what we're going to dive into right now. So we're going to talk today through 3 key steps to escaping the corporate ladder and discovering your dream career. Now, obviously, there is so much to talk through when you are talking about a career change. I have programs built on it. And there are many things that are individual to everyone. So we're going to talk through 3 of the key steps to escaping the corporate ladder. And if you want to know a little bit more about what other work you can be doing to really help you to accelerate that change and actually start taking action right now, then I can give you a bit more information at the end. So if that sounds good to everyone, just let me know in the chat with a little thumbs up or yep, or whatever it is. Munir says, when you are in the right country. I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that, but if you want to let me know, that would be great. Elena says, yep, sure. Omer, hopefully I've pronounced that right, says, yep. Dennis says, of course. Perfect. Okay, cool. We are all in the same boat. So step number 1, I want you to find clarity around what you want. And these are some really good exercises that I want you guys to take away from today to really support you to move away from this completely unfulfilling career and actually start taking tangible action towards what you want. Because this isn't just right. There's a huge part of this, which is about supporting you to build your confidence, overcome self-doubt, that motivational side of it, that mindset side of it. But there's also practical side and really actionable steps that you can be taking. So as I said before, one of the biggest mistakes is that people don't know what they want. So let's start getting clear about, what do you actually want? So I want you to reflect on what you want, okay? But I also want you to contrast that with what you don't want. So right now in your career, what don't you want? What is frustrating you? Whether that is the long commute, whether that is hours staring at a laptop, whether that is late nights, whether that is working on the weekends, whether that is standing on your feet all day, whether that is being micromanaged. For me, some of the things that I hated was like eating out of a Tupperware for lunch every single day. You know, I wanted to be able to sit down and have a proper lunch, or I wanted to be able to have time in the morning to go to the gym. They might sound small, okay, but they're also really big. when they're every single day. Now imagine every single day you've got a long commute, and on one day that's fine, but if it's every day and you waste 2 hours on a train, then it's really, really difficult. You know, it adds up and it builds up. And how much time do you waste? 2 hours every day could be 10 hours every week. Imagine what you could do with that time. That's an extra day that you could be taking on. So thinking about where are all those micro stresses, but thinking beyond that as well. You know, what do you want from your life in general? Do you want to be able to travel? Do you want to be able to work remotely? Do you want to be able to work in a team? Do you want to have more time for your children, for your friends? What is it that you're actually striving for? What makes you happy? And I don't want you to put any barriers on this or any boundaries. I want you to think big. You could have your dream career. This webinar is about having your dream career, not your mediocre, fine, okay career that makes me feel a little bit happy career. It's about your dream career. Okay, so if we can reach for that and we can start building towards it, that's ultimately what we want. So start reflecting. What do you want? What do you don't want? And like you can see on the page here, a simple way to do it is actually to just get an A4 piece of paper, put a line down the middle, have these two columns and contrast against them, compare and contrast, thinking about what is it that I want, so therefore what don't I want? And the clearer you can be on this, the more you can lay a foundation about what the right step is for you to move forward into your dream career. Because we said before, this isn't just about your career, this is about your life and how you feel. You know, so potentially it is about financial means, potentially it is about time, potentially it's about your wellness, your health. What is it that you want? So I went through a similar process. When I first set up my business, I wanted to get very, very clear about what I wanted. To work remotely was incredibly important to me. To travel was incredibly important to me. I spent last summer in Italy working. I spent doing exactly what I'm doing now. I've had lived in Mexico for the last month. You know, the opportunities are there. But this is not just myself, okay? This is my clients too. Daniel, I want to leave Brazil. Yeah, absolutely. But what do you want beyond that then, Daniel? What is it that you want to do when you leave Brazil? Dennis, I want to work online and live a couple of months in each country, earn enough to invest. Yes, absolutely. And then Dennis, I want you to think day to day, what does that look like? You know, what is it? What are the fundamentals, the non-negotiables that you want in your life? So it's not just about me. This is what I do with all my clients, right? So here's a client case study for you. So this is Pippa. Now, Pippa went from being a dancer to having a health service, an alternative holistic health service as well. So when we first started working together, some of her challenges was that she didn't know what she wanted to do. She was unsure. She was wasn't really clear on her direction. She was struggling to make decisions. She was procrastinating. She was overthinking. She just couldn't really trust herself. She didn't know what mattered to her. She didn't trust her intuition. You know, there was a lot of social things that are holding her back, a lot of social things that actually were influencing what she wanted. You know, quite often, this is a big thing when I speak to my clients, is that they think they want X, but it's only because they've been socially conditioned to think they should want that. But I want you to think right now, what do you want, right? Getting really clear about what you want. Dave said having the time to do your own projects, which is great. What does that look like? How much time? The more specific you can be, the better. Flexibility, who said that? Zal said that. What does that look like for you? How many hours a week? What sort of flexibility does that mean for you? The more you can be specific, and I love these guys, I'm not going to be able to go through them all, but you know, the more specific that you can be on these things, the clearer you can be on exactly what the right step is for you to move forward. Pippa said that by working together, she's been actually able to step in her true authentic self and find a lifestyle that resonates with her values. And this is so important because it is about authenticity, because the more authentic you can be, the more you're going to be able to create a life that really, truly, innately fulfills you. That dream life that you want, not society wants, not what your parents want, not what your friends expect of you, what you want. It's about getting really clear on what your values are, what your purpose is. And that is a massive part of work that I do with my clients, because it takes time. Because so often, how many of us really, truly know what our values are? And we get asked that, and we maybe say honesty, friendship, you know, progression, you know, health, whatever that may be. But actually, when we strip it back and we do the work, are they true? They may be important to you, but are they your core values? And when you can really recognize your core values, it gives you a clear foundation to make decisions off. Because if you are currently in a job which frustrates you, overwhelms you, annoys you, where you feel stuck, where your boss is irritating you, where your team are irritating you, the likelihood is it's because they are not aligning to your values. And when you can understand what your values are, then you can make decisions about the right steps to go forward, or equally not the right steps to move forward. You might know that that career over there isn't right for me because it doesn't align to my values. And it's not just then about your career, it's about every decision that you make going forward. It is around where you live. It is around, who you spend your time with. And the more you do that, the more you can step into your authentic self, the more you can step into a place where you are achieving more, not just fulfillment, but also so much more of your potential. Mia says about, I can see that come up, Mia. She says, I really don't have an idea what I want to do. And this is where it's important. It's not about what you want to do as your career. It's about how you want to live your life. How do you see your life? What would a perfect day look like to you? What would you be doing? Who would you be spending your time with? What lights you up? And being clear about that, some of those non-negotiables. We're not talking about just your business or your career. It's not about that at this point. It's about how you want to live your life. What's important to you? So we mentioned about Pip. Now, through doing all of that work together, she was able to not just get clear on the career that she wanted to do, really recognize what lights her up, really step into that space, but she also created a life. So here is Saffron, which is her van that she bought, and she traveled around Europe whilst working and living from her van and able to actually create this lifestyle of opportunity, of adventure, but also whilst creating a career that absolutely she loved and really resonated with all of her values. So by working together, she got clarity on her direction. She was qualified in all the different holistic health services that she qualified in. She set up her business. She traveled around Europe in Saffron, and she's been running her own workshops. So I want you to do the same. As I said before, I want you to get really clear on some of those do's and don'ts. So it's about lacking purpose. It's about finding purposeful work. It's about being chained to an office that you don't want to do. Maybe it's about having flexibility about where you work. If it's about having your time dictated to you, which is something that I hated, maybe it's about not working pre 10 a.m. or not working after midday. If it's about being in a job which doesn't necessarily respect you or your well-being, maybe it's about some of those more specifics, as I mentioned before, having time to sit down for food, for time, for exercise, doing work that goes nowhere. I worked in a massive corporation, and sometimes you're just a tiny piece of that. And actually, when you can recognize that you actually want to do work where you see results, that's really important. So I would really encourage you all after today, whether you're already doing it right now, but actually to start getting really clear about what do you want from your career and your life. Okay, because just as Seth Godin says, instead of wondering actually when your next vacation is, maybe you should set up a life that you don't need to escape from. Okay, it's not career and life. They are the same thing. Okay, so what we want to do is make sure that your career is aligning to exactly what gives you value, exactly what aligns to your purpose, what fulfills you, and how you can create a life that, just as Seth Godin says, that you don't need to escape from. Monia said, I have no experience in anything. In my country, there's no chance for corruption. What I do is illegal. Illegal immigration is in boats at sea. Okay, Monia, I might come back to that in a bit. So the second point, the second key step about how to step into that career, into that dream career, is recognizing and overcome what's holding you back from fulfillment. Okay. And this is what I was speaking about before. Okay. What we really need to get clear on is exactly what's stopping you from actually just taking that step. What is stopping you? What is holding you back from all of those things you want? So you've recognized what are your non-negotiables. You've recognized what's going to fulfill you. You started to get a clear idea of what you don't want, but something is stopping you, because otherwise you would already be taking that action to get there. So what is stopping you and how do you overcome it? Now, we spoke before about money and time, and we'll come back to those in a second, but also beliefs. So there are so many things that we think can hold us back. So when I was making a change in my career, many of the beliefs that were holding us back were actually, many of the things that were holding me back was, what will other people think? Will other people be disappointed? I'm going to fall behind my friends. I'm not going to hit those milestones. Everybody is so far ahead of me. This isn't the person that I am meant to be. I am meant to be this overachiever. I'm meant to do all of these things. I'm failing. I'm going back to the beginning. Many things like that held me back, and they kept me in a place where I was desperately unfulfilled. I was desperately unhappy. And actually the problem then was that I stopped myself from moving forward. But actually at that point, when I was 28, I think, I thought I was stepping back. I thought I was starting again. And the reality is, maybe I was, but actually I have 30, 40 years ahead of me of work. I have 30, 40 years of life ahead of me. And I would much prefer to start again at that point than actually to live 30, 40 years of feeling frustrated and feeling stuck. So therefore, it's about recognizing and reframing ideas. I'm not falling behind. I've already had so much opportunity. And now it's just about the next step, because life isn't just one linear journey that we get a career and that's it for the rest of our life. Life is about opportunity. Life is about reacting to what is in front of you. Life is about adapting to what it changes in terms of importance for you, because we are human beings and therefore our priorities will change, and therefore what means is important to us will change. What we want will change. So the more we can be adapting to that, and the more we can recognize some of those beliefs that are holding you back, the more we can reframe it and start to move forward. So money. We mentioned before how much money potentially holds people back. Now, what's really important, and I love this, and this is why I wanted to put it in, is because so often we are dropping money here, there, and everywhere. When maybe we spend coffee on this, we buy that, we buy a new iPhone. But then when it comes to investing in ourselves, we actually struggle to actually do it. You see here, it says start a new business, $999, too much. Buy a new iPhone, $999, no problem. Healthy groceries, $100, too much. A dinner and a drink, just one dinner and a drink, $100, no problem. And I think this is really where it's important to recognize the word for me that stands out here. It says on here, it's about lack of opportunity. It's about your choices. But the word for me that stands out is priority. And whether it's about money or time, it's about where are you prioritizing what you're putting your energy into, what you're putting your money into, what you're putting your time into. Because the reality is all those opportunities are available to you. It's about the choices that you make. And it's the same with time. It's, as I said before, time is precious. Time is finite. So where are you prioritizing your time? Are you prioritizing it watching Netflix, scrolling on Instagram, whatever you may be doing? Or are you prioritizing it on creating the life that you want to create? So therefore, it's about recognizing how are you spending your time and how do you want to spend your time? How are you moving forward? Because it's not that you have a lack of time. It's about the use of your time. So another client case story, this is Amy. Amy's actually just recently finished my Uncover Your Dream Career program. And she was in admin before. And as a result of going through the program, she's recognized that the direction she wants to take her career is in interior design. So before she started the program, her challenges were around that she wasn't happy in her current role. She'd been doing it for a long time. She didn't know what to change to or how to find it. And I can't remember who said it before, maybe it was Mia, but yeah, she was very much in that position. She was scared of investing in herself. She was scared of actually putting herself first, maybe over other people. She felt like she didn't have time. She was moving states. There was lots of things going on, but she knew that was the time then, because there was so much change. And actually, if that wasn't the time, then when's going to be a perfect time? Because there is no such thing as a perfect time. But through working together, she's got clarity on the values and direction. She realized that investing in yourself, and actually this is a quote that she sent me, investing in yourself isn't selfish. It makes you the best version of you and those you love. And I've got a platform and a podcast called You First. And the reason I have it and the reason it's called You First is because actually sometimes by putting yourself first in order to become the best version of yourself, in order to achieve so much more of your potential, you can be the better version of yourself for other people as well. So allowing yourself to that opportunity to step into that space is so incredibly important. And she's left that soul-sucking job. She's created freedom to study. She's now working in a way that is flexible, that is enjoying, and quote unquote, she's creating a life of time and financial freedom for a life she loves. And as I said before, she's now studying interior design and stepping into something that truly excites her. So she said, thank you for the course. For the first time, I was made to really reflect on who I am and what I want. This comes back to what we were saying before. It's not about what society potentially is telling you what you should want. It's about what you want. And she said, whilst it isn't easy to do, and this is the point, it's not easy to do, otherwise we would all do it. We'd all be stepping into that space. She's discovered so much about herself. It's given herself that confidence to move forward. Self-awareness is so incredibly important, because with that self-awareness, whether it's about getting clear on what we want, our non-negotiables, our values, what gives us purpose, it gives us a real clear direction about what is it that we want to do to move forward? What's giving us that confidence to move forward? How do we move forward? And it gives you that excitement to take those steps. So the third step, goal setting. And this is a huge thing that I think is quite lost on people. And quite often we get so caught up in just some end goal, right? I'm going to run a marathon, or I'm going to change a career, but we don't necessarily know how to fundamentally set those goals. And we also don't think about, okay, well, what's the process to get there? And this is what I want to talk about today. So I want to introduce you to SMART goals. And if anyone knows what SMART goals are, please jump into the chat. But we're going to talk through that in a second, and how that is so incredibly important to help you to make those changes. We're going to also talk about process goals versus outcome. And I want you to start thinking about, okay, well, when we're goal setting, we need to be really clear on actually, when are we going to do this? Give ourselves a tangible date to actually making that change. So SMART goals. Whenever we're setting any goal, any outcome goal, it needs to be SMART. What SMART essentially means, it's an acronym for being specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timed. And what that essentially means is that we are making sure that, firstly, the goal that we're setting is realistic. That, to say, oh, I want to become a doctor tomorrow isn't necessarily realistic, because we need to do a lot of different qualifications. But to say I want to be a doctor in 7 years is realistic, okay? Whether you are in that realm or not, to be able to make that change over that time period, collect those qualifications. But you've also got to make sure that it's SMART, it's specific. You're giving yourself a date. You're giving yourself a key point in time. You're being specific about what you want. I said it before when you guys said, what do I want in terms of non-negotiables? What is it I want to create with my life? You've got to be specific. You've got to be really clear about, what do you want? Not vague, not flexibility. What does that mean to you? Not balance. What does that mean to you? When you're being specific, I want to change my career by when? By the 1st of January 2022. I want to leave my job by when? I want to requalify by when? Giving yourself real clear dates and points in the sand, and being able to measure it is so incredibly important, because by doing that, then you can create a clear structure and plan in order to get there. And this is the difference between outcome goal, which is over here, which is the outcome of what we're trying to achieve. Maybe that is launching a course, maybe that is changing career, to process goals. Now, process goals are things we do every single day in order to help us to achieve that outcome. Now, that could be around studying. So I'm going to study for an hour every day. That could be around sending out qualifications or CVs, or whatever it may be, whatever the action is to take every single day in order to achieve that. Because quite often we get so caught up on this end goal, but we forget that everything we're doing every day should be allowing ourselves to help us to grow. And whether that is around self-development work, self-awareness work, getting new qualifications, understanding what that next step is, we always want to be taking action consistently over time in order to move ourselves towards that life that we want. We think back to that first step. What do we want? And are we creating a process in order for us to get there? So this is one of my clients, Sophie. Now, Sophie moved from being a digital analyst into being a life coach. And Sophie's had an incredible journey. When we first started working together, she was so unfulfilled in her work, and she was even questioning, like, what would fulfill me? She had no idea of what her values were, her purpose was. She felt incredibly lost. She just had no idea what that direction could be. She felt like she had no way of finding that out as well. How do I make that change? How do I even make it possible? But by actually doing the work, she's got really clear direction of her career. She's not only qualified as a coach, she's set up her business. She's established a bridging job that's allowed her to also build her business at the same time. But she's bought a house as well. She's actually bought a boat as well. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, what we're working on is you as a person. It's not just your career, it's your whole life. And the work that we've done together with Sophie has had such a knock-on effect that it's given her the confidence to step up in other areas of her life, whether that's buying a house or whether that's starting a new relationship. Everything has elevated for Sophie. She said, for a few years, I wanted to make a career change that would more closely align to my values, but lacked the confidence and knowledge about making that shift. And I never thought I could have the clarity and confidence about the career change that I've always dreamed about that I do now. I said to Fiona recently, this is how life has always meant to have felt. And this is a feeling I want you guys to feel. This is a feeling I felt, this sense of awareness and this moment where you think, wow, how have I never felt this before? How have I never felt this sense of opportunity, potential, fulfillment before? And this is what I want for you guys. I'm just reading some of your messages in the chat. I'll come back to some of those. So what I really want you to start to recognize when we're thinking about goal setting is, what do you need to do right now to start actually taking real action towards that goal? Because remember, one of the mistakes is thinking that someday this will happen. Someday I'll kind of have this elusive goal that I'm going to change my career, that I'm going to travel the world. And it's kind of just floating in the air. And it's this idea, this dream. But how do we start to make this dream a reality? How do we escape that corporate ladder and start to step into that dream career, into that life that you want, whether that's leaving Brazil, whether that's setting up your business, whatever that may be? How do we start taking real tangible action towards that? Today, you're already doing it by being here. But what can you do off the back of this webinar today? Working through all of these things, working through like really uncovering about exactly what is holding you back in order to take that step. How can I hire a session with you? You can drop me a message after this, Mia, and we can have a chat about that. But it's about all of these things that we have spoken about as well. The procedure takes time. So as Fiona said, Sarah, a realistic plan. Absolutely, Maya, right? And this is what it's about. It's not about, oh, it's too far ahead in the future, or therefore I can't take it. If it's so far ahead, then we need to start now. We need to get really clear about what that structure is, what's holding us back, what we want, how do we get there? How do we plan financially? How do we plan our time? All of these different aspects. So here are 6 secrets, and this is what I want to let you into today. So we've got those 3 steps, but I want to let you into these 6 secrets to stepping into your dream job and life that you adore. So guys, if that is okay, you're ready to go into those. And as I grab a glass of water, let me know that you are on board with that. Just give me a little bit of a heads up that you're still with me. Helen says, good. Dennis, we are perfect here. Love this. Good. We are ready. Starry eyes. Wonderful. Okay, guys. Okay, so 6 secrets to stepping into that dream job. So the first is around getting really clear about that purpose, about that values. We've spoken about it all the way through, but it really does underpin a lot of decisions that you take moving forward. If you can be really fundamentally clear about what matters to you, what fulfills you, what gives you value, then it really helps you in order to lay the foundation about getting clear on what that next step is. Having that level of self-understanding that we said before, what does matter to you? You know, what are your interests? What are your skills? What lifestyle do you want to create? What is holding you back? Having all of that information, having awareness, self-awareness is incredibly key. As I said before, not just about your career, but at all the decisions that you want to take thereafter. What is holding you back? What are some of those limiting beliefs that even if you're clear on your purpose, your values, even if you're clear on exactly what you want, your skill sets, your interests, maybe there's something that's holding you back. Maybe it's other people, maybe it's beliefs, but the more acute you can be aware of what's limiting you, the more you can actually start stepping forward. Because the reality is, it's not just about stepping into your career, it's then what's after that. What do you really want? And there's always a next level, but there's always going to be a limiting belief that's stopping you from getting to that next level. Time, money, managing it appropriately. How do we create more of it? How do we create opportunities with it? Because as I said before, they're commodities. So the more we can create of them, the more we can allow ourselves more opportunity. If we had more time, imagine how much more we could do. If we had more money, how much more we could do. The two are intrinsically linked. Sometimes one, being able to invest in one, allows us to create more of the other. And when we have more of each one, we can elevate so much more. We can create so much more opportunity in our life. We can have more adventures. We can do more with our work. We can invest in charities that we want to invest in. We can support other people. There is so much out there. Those two things are vehicles. And when we allow ourselves the opportunity to create more of those vehicles or tokens, as I said before, we allow ourselves so much more opportunity. Mindset. How do we create a mindset of confidence, of self-awareness, of self-belief, of self-understanding that is going to allow ourselves to really elevate into a life that is going to allow us to achieve our highest potential? And that's what it's about. It's not just about fulfillment, and of course it is, but it's not just about purpose. It's about potential as well. It's about potential of the lifestyle that you can create. It's about your potential. It's about everything that you want to achieve. What is holding you back? What part of your mindset is holding you back? Whether it's imposter syndrome, whether it's confidence, whether it's self-doubt. And how do we actually ensure that you have a mindset that is ferocious and is filled with self-confidence, filled with self-belief that you can handle anything, and therefore you can create a life full of opportunity? How do you then, and I think, was it Maya that said this before, which I love, how do you then create that strategical transition? How do you create a structure that is going to allow you to take all of this and then take that step, so that you take that step with confidence and with clarity, so that you take that step practically, so that it doesn't, have an issue on your life, or, impact you in a negative way? But how do you actually do it so that you are clear in how you make that transition? So you have a plan, so you have those clear goals. How do you do that? Right now, life feels hard. Okay, life feels hard because we're staying where we are. But we feel like life is going to be hard if we take that step. But life is hard either way. Life is always hard, right? Life will throw you challenges. Life will throw you problems. There will never be a perfect time. So therefore, how do we step into a place which is full of opportunity? How do we step into a place where we know we're moving towards more of what we want, more fulfillment, more opportunity? So if you are ready to stop staying in a place which is difficult just because we're staying in our comfort zone, and actually step out of that comfort zone, just let me know that, let's say, I want to say, I'm ready in the chat. I'm ready to step out that comfort zone. And I want to know in the chat who is genuinely ready, who is on this webinar today to actually step out of that comfort zone and to stop staying in a place where you are frustrated and unfulfilled. Dennis is ready, Susanna's ready, Elena is ready. Because this is the point. You can either stay where you are and continue to feel frustrated and continue to feel unfulfilled, or you can actually do something about it. And you can actually step into a place that, yes, may be challenging. But as I said before, whenever we're going to achieve or look to achieve any goal, or look to actually step into a place where we're achieving so much more, there's going to be challenges that come along the way anyway. So therefore, how do we actually embrace them? And rather than seeing them as roadblocks, see them as speed bumps, and learn from them and grow from them and create so much more from them. Just like all of these 3 women who you've met tonight, who have all done the same. It might not necessarily be easy. It might have been difficult. It might have been hard for them to actually discover more about themselves and to challenge themselves, to challenge beliefs, to challenge mindsets, to completely change their life around. It's not easy, but actually nothing worth it ever is. So right now you have a choice. You have a choice whether you stay in that comfort zone where you feel unfulfilled, you feel like you are frustrated, it's having a knock-on effect to your life, or you can do something about it. You can actually step into a place which is filled with opportunity, which is filled with a lifestyle where you can do all of those things that you've mentioned before, where you can leave countries, where you can travel, where you can set up a business, where you can have flexibility, you can have more freedom, all of those things. But you have to make that choice, and you have to take responsibility, and you have to take action. And right now I'm offering you the opportunity to do that. So I want to let you know a little bit more about my Uncover Your Dream Career program, which is helping you to do exactly that. And through this Uncover Your Dream Career program, which is a 12-week program, I'm giving you the tools and the strategies to help you to gain clarity about your purpose and values, to understand exactly what that right career path is for you, and to uncover your dream career. But not just that, but learn how to transition into your dream career with confidence and with clarity. Now, the course is a mixture of on-demand and live coaching. So there is an opportunity for you to do work in your own time around your current careers, around your lifestyle, but also have the massive benefit of having live group coaching calls as well, to really dive into exactly what is holding you back, exactly what you want, to gain that clarity, to help you to understand how do you make that transition. So through the 6 modules that we have over the 12 weeks, we work through understanding your why, your purpose, your values. We get really clear on exactly what your interests are and your skill sets are to help you understand the right direction for you. Whilst also getting clear about your limitations, whether that's beliefs, whether that's money, whether that's time. We think about how to invest in you more. We look at ways to actually practically understand how to manage money. One of the girls that did this course did one of the exercises in module 4 and actually was able to save £1,000 because of one of the money management tools that we worked her through. We think about planning change. We think about you as an individual, your confidence, your beliefs. How do we help you to strategically plan? But we also think about what's beyond the program as well to help you to keep building, because that's what it's all about. It's keep building, it's keep moving forward. And this is about creating a mindset for you to create so much more. So through these 6 modules, there are on-demand teaching webinars. As I said, we have fortnightly live Q&A calls. You've got loads of workbooks and resources to really support you in finding that clarity and making that change. We have accountability groups and partnerships as well to really help you to dive in to make that change as well. So the doors are open for the current cohort for this program. And the link is now in the chat for you guys to book a discovery call to find out if this program is right for you. So this is for you if you are frustrated, everything we've spoken about today, frustrated, unfulfilled, fed up, everything that you don't want to be, everything we're looking to step away from. Someone said before, they're ready since yesterday. So if you're ready, it's about taking action. So it's about taking action towards what you want, getting clear, about actually starting to do that work. So as I said, the doors are open. So what I suggest is dive into that link and set up a discovery call. And let me tell you a little bit more about some of the alumni. So we've had Rachel. Now, Rachel used to work for a travel agency called TUI. And by doing the work, she's really got clear on how she was actually holding herself back. And what she's found is how incredibly important actually sustainability is. And she's gone back into education and actually gone into doing a sustainability master's. There was Nicola, who has gone from being a nurse, something which she trained for so long, but something that was incredibly unfulfilling. The lifestyle just did not resonate with her. It was draining her. It was having an effect on her personally. And she's got really clear on what matters to her. And she's actually recognized what's holding her back. And now she said she's not scared of putting herself first anymore. And what's really interesting about Christina is actually Christina went through the course. She worked in finance, she worked in investment banking. And actually what she recognizes that she thought that was really stressful. And it wasn't necessarily about the industry, but it was about the type of role that she was in. So by doing the work, she's realized she loves finance, but it's just, she's sidestepped into a different role and now feels really fulfilled in it. She's discovered so much about herself and has the confidence to move forward and create something incredibly exciting and new. And this could be you if you decide to take that step. And I want to make this super easy for you. And I want to offer you an opportunity to, no, Dennis, they're not all women. I have actually just had a man start on the program this week as well, Dennis. So there is an opportunity for you, and I want to help you with this opportunity right now. And I want to actually offer you guys a fast action bonus, which is available for you if you sign up for a discovery call before tonight. So the discovery call is free. So there is, it's a win-win situation where you get an opportunity to find out if this is right for you. And also if you do decide to sign up to the program, then you get the opportunity for this fast action bonus. Now, this fast action bonus, if you sign up to the program today, or if you sign up for a discovery call today, you get access to the accelerator program for free. Now, the accelerator program is everything that we've spoken about before, but you get an additional 30-minute one-to-one call with me every month. So you get 3 30-minute calls. And all you have to do is message me the word escape to get access. So set up your discovery call, message me the word escape. Now, this accelerator program is worth an additional 600 or over 700 euros worth of value. Now, this is incredibly valuable because this 30 minutes or these 30 minutes, these 3 30-minute one-to-ones gives you the opportunity to ensure that you're getting tailored approach. Perfect. If you just message, a couple of people just messaged me the word escape. If you drop me a message on Instagram, you can see my Instagram handle there. If you want to message me on there, or you can also email me, fiona@fionamoss.co.uk, and then we can go from there. But you have the opportunity to get tailored support in order to actually really find that what is right for you. How do you make those changes? How can you actually stop? Yeah, of course. Erica or Lucina, can you pop my email into the chat? Would that be okay? Just so that I've just been asked it. This gives you a real good opportunity to actually step forward into the life you want, rather than waiting 12 weeks. We have 12 weeks now until the end of the year. So if you are ready to close out 2021 with clarity and confidence about what that next step is, then now is the time for you to do that. We can't wait anymore. There is no such day as someday. Someday is today. So if you are ready for that, take action right now and take the opportunity that you have right here to get this for free, this opportunity that you have right now. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to let me know. We have a couple of people who just messaged me escape, which is great. So thank you very much. As I say, either message me on Instagram or on email as well, and we will go from there.
Okay.
No, the program isn't free. The accelerator program is free. So the program the accelerator program is an additional £600. So you are getting the additional £600 for free as well. So what I would suggest is in the link that you would have in the chat that's just been shared, there is an opportunity for you to set up a discovery call. So I would recommend to go into there and set up your discovery call as well right now. So guys, thank you very much, Lucina. Okay, perfect. So guys, just as a reminder that the fast action bonuses are available until midnight tonight. And I've made this incredibly amazing offer where you get this tailored support completely for free. But I want to offer you a promise, okay? And this promise is that if you do sign up to the program, you don't love it after your first month, you get your money back, okay? And the reason I do that, the reason I offer that opportunity is because I know how hard changing your career is, because I've been there. You guys know my journey. I've explained it to you. I understand those feelings, those fears of taking that step, the fears of how hard that first step is in actually your career development and doing these courses. And that's why I want to make it so simple for you, because I really want to support you. I've talked a lot today about purpose and values. And the purpose of what I do is to really help you to move away from that place where you feel unfulfilled and you feel stressed, because I know how hard that is. And that's what drives my purpose. That's what gets me out of bed every single day to support you guys as well. So I want to make you that offer. So will you be joining us? I would love to know. I'd love to know what, like, you guys, I know so many of you have messaged me, which I'm going to go back through in a second. But let me know in the chat if you've already set up your discovery call. Yes, exactly, Josephine. Should we book on for a free call? Yes, absolutely. So let me know if you've already set up and I can celebrate with you. So many of you messaged escape. Make sure you do email me, Instagram message me as well, and I'll make sure I get back to you. And also don't forget to set up your discovery call as well. But also, guys, I'd love to know, do you have a question? Is there any questions that I can support you with right now whilst you have me live on the call? I know that there will be the link to the program as well, put in an email after this, guys. That's right. Which will be sent. I don't know when that will be sent out. Will that be sent out tonight or?
Yes, so the recording will be uploaded, and then we'll send it out probably by the end of the week. And then with more information as well with the newsletter, also notifications. So don't worry, we'll be sharing the recordings as well.
Perfect. So what I suggest, guys, if you do want access to that fast action bonus, is that you make sure that you copy the link and you keep it in your browser, because then otherwise you might not get the link, and the fast action bonus is only valid tonight as well. So guys, if you have any questions, please let me know in the chat. Otherwise, please do excuse me, please do connect with me on Instagram. So my Instagram is @Fiona Moss _ as you can see here. And I would love to connect with you all as well, and really hear a little bit more about your story, a little bit more about what is holding you back, a little bit more about what you want as well, and really helping you to take those actions as well. Okay, so there are some questions. Sorry, they've just all come through. So Maya says, is there a private sessions opportunity as well? Yes, there is. Mia. Is it Maya or Mia? I think it's Mia. So yes, there is. I do one-to-one sessions as well. So Mia, what I suggest is drop me an email. So fiona@fionamoss.co.uk, and we can get you set up and we can have a quick chat about what exactly you are looking for. Omer, how to think like an entrepreneur. Are you looking to set up a business, Omer? Because I do actually have a business setup, startup course as well, called Step Up and Set Up. So if you have a business idea and you're ready to set up, but you're not sure exactly where you are, then that potentially might be something for you. So I would love to think a little bit more, or understand a little bit more about where you're at on there. Erin, how do you go about finding remote jobs with a connected work culture? So is that to work within a company or is that to work for yourself? So presumably, Erin, you are from, I'm trying to understand, in a company. Okay, so that can be very, very different depending on the company. I think what is really important is to look at the getting clear about what you want. So getting clear about, okay, Hazel, thank you very much for letting me know that. We will get that sorted for you right now. There may just be a glitch on the link as well. So we'll get that updated ASAP. So let me just go back. Erin, I think the question is about what company offers that. I think what's really important is for you to get really, really clear about exactly what you want from that career, exactly what you're looking for, exactly what interests, etc., etc. And the more you can do that, the more then you can start to be aware of what opportunities are out there. And this is a lot of the work that I do with my clients, is about how do we find those opportunities once you're clear on exactly what it is that you do. Medit, thank you so much as well. Yeah, as you say, guys, I will get that updated for you right now. And please do make sure that you book in, so they'll be updated within 2 minutes after the end of this as well. Guys, if there is any more questions, please let me know. If you want to drop me an email with regards to one-to-one as well. And if you guys have not already, make sure you message me the word escape either on Instagram or on email, and I will get back to you straight away, and we'll get some time set up as well. Guys, thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Erica and Lucina, for hosting, for facilitating. And yeah, if you guys have any more questions, please do let me know or drop me a message. But other than that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Fiona, for the brilliant webinar. I think we'll all agree it helped everyone a lot. Yeah, thank you for being here for us and for enlightening us with your ideas. And for everyone who would like to join more webinars, tomorrow there's another one as well in the as a part of the 30-day challenge with Sahna Samat. The title is Boosting Your Employability, a Personal Development Plan. So if you want to join, the link will be in the chat. You can subscribe. Everything is for free, just like with this one. We hope to see you there. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Fiona. Thank you, everybody, for participating. And we hope to see you in the next webinars.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And as I say, the link will be updated right now. I'm updating it. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.